We're live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April 16th, 2026 City Council Work Session. We'll start off with Mr. Masisklis.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm not going to go too in-depth in the March financial snapshot. Just a brief overview about income tax. That's one of the items we're following. With the RETA transition, we did budget for a 15% decline. Back in February, they caught up quite a bit, and we were just about dead even. Now we're about down 12% compared to year-to-date. Tax week went smoothly this past week, so we'll see this time next month if RETA had caught up to what our year-to-date would be. So a little bit behind last year, but still within budget for this year. I will also give an update that our quarter one financials, all of our check details have been uploaded to the Ohio Open Checkbook, so anything through quarter one 2026 is available online. And we also have published our 2026 digital budget book, so folks can see everything that's been in detail in this budget as well as previous and some comprehensive plan items. But that is.
Thank you, Mr. Masisklis. Mr. Bridge.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Tonight on the planning and zoning staff report, we have got three legislation pieces. One of them amends chapter 620. That is our chicken and quail section. We have a request to go from 6 to 12, and then also to allow the waste to be used as fertilizer on the premise. We also have a second legislation piece releasing a maintenance bond for Maple View Section 5 and accepting those improvements. That's a pretty standard, typical legislative cycle that is requested to be an emergency and read tonight. And the last one is going to be the, excuse me for 1 second. We'll make sure I get it right. The mobile food unit ordinance, that is the food truck. It states currently that it has to be issued by Butler County Health District. Any issuing health district in the state of Ohio is able to issue that, and it can be used interchangeably at each county. So for us to say you need to go and grab a Butler County one, let's say if they have one from Hamilton, Butler County would not issue that. So just clearing up that language in that particular ordinance. Happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions?
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Ziffel, I do have a question, and it goes for the public hearing section of that. Can I just, usually it's tradition that we read anyone against or for any ordinance as a singularity. Can I do them all together?
No, we would do this separate.
Okay, sounds good. All right, well, we'll stay with you, Mr. Ziffel.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council. Before you tonight is a motion authorizing the city manager to execute an annexation petition and related documents to begin an expedited annexation in accordance with Chapter 79 of the revised code. The petition will annex city-owned property along with 2 neighboring properties who have requested annexation and consent to the petition. Though some council members have approved prior annexations into the city, I see a few of you nodding. Some of you are new to council, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a backdrop on the annexation process. Ohio law permits properties adjacent to municipalities to be annexed in kind of 2 general methods. One is a regular method, the other is an expedited. These are the terms in the revised code. Now, based on those descriptions, it's easy to infer that it all deals with time. And that's not the case. The difference fundamentally relates to the territory being annexed. Under Ohio law, a petition for annexation could be filed by a property owner that includes the adjacent parcels around it, where those owners would not consent. And that would be considered what they call an expedite, or I'm sorry, a regular. An expedited annexation, though, is one where all the owners in the territory to be annexed have consented to the The motion before council tonight is an expedited annexation. It involves 4 owners, one of which is the city, and all of which have consented to the annexation. The annexation does not apply to any other parcel. Now, generally speaking, the mechanics of both the regular and expedited annexation are very similar. Similar procedures apply to both in terms of the petition itself, notice to the property owner subject to annexation, notice to and responses from the pertinent townships and the municipality, and a review of procedural compliance by Butler County Commission. However, in a regular annexation, those owners who own property that's included in that territory to be annexed, they also have an opportunity to refute it and object in front of the council because they don't consent that their property is being annexed. That's really the key distinction. Also, under a regular annexation, the properties being annexed would be completely removed from the township, but under an expedited annexation, the property is considered both part of the township and part of the city for purposes of real estate tax. I'll also note that nearly every annexation in the last 25 years across the state of Ohio has been conducted by it. And one other point to clarify about the motion tonight, the petition is only the start of the process. Ohio law and our city ordinances describe procedures that must be followed for annexation. That includes identification of public services available, review by the county for procedural compliance, and despite what I think we saw in the news today, the designation of zoning for the annexed territory, that will be at a later date in accordance with our ordinance and actually with chapter 713 of the revised code. That's a separate process down the line should the property actually. And like I mentioned, each one of those procedures will be at a later. This is merely an approval, just a motion to approve filing the petition and beginning that process. Now, that process, though, is unique in and of itself in Chapter 709 of the revised code. It has very short timelines where the public authorities involved have to respond or respond to the county commissioners within 20 days after filing a petition. I know we've had that before as an issue. It's kind of hard when you have meetings every other week, essentially, or first and third Thursdays a month to meet that 20-day timeline. So if it is approved and the petition is filed, we would likely begin reviewing the initial part of just the petition itself in the public services that could be identified for those parcels at probably the next. So I just wanted to give council an update or ahead. And just to clarify that turnaround, that 20-day turnaround, that's under Chapter 7 and 9. So I think that's all I have.
Just to clarify, because I've gotten a couple phone calls around it, this is not to force anyone that does not wish or that has not asked the city of Trenton to annex.
That's correct.
This just involves the parcels where the owners have requested us that they want to be annexed into the city of Trenton.
Yes, it's very similar to the prior annexation, I think was in 2021, for the city of property. Almost.
Okay. Any additional questions? Thank you, Mr. Ziffel. Mr. Nichols.
Thank you, Mayor Perry. Just an update on some projects with the municipal building. The pool area is enclosed and the concrete roof structure is in place. Panels are being installed towards the east side of the building. The city complex water main loop will be connected to the SES collector road main on later this week. Water main is installed to the tie-in point at the existing Centennial main and pass the water pressure test. The first round of purity testing will begin next week. We're held up on the electric conduits still to Duke print revisions and layout. We're working with that with Duke. Once the conduits are installed, SES can begin the final street cut and install curbs going to the north on Edgewood Drive, and that will open a window for the commercial outlot contractor to make their curb and paving connections as well. Final design in basin number 3 is in progress additionally. As it relates to off-site improvements, north side turn lanes have passed compaction and are almost ready for asphalt. There is one electric pole in the way, and AT&T is moving that, hopefully in the next week or two. The concrete island on Edgewood Drive has been removed and is based in with asphalt. The slotted storm drain on the south side of State Street has been saw cut and is ready for removal and replacement. As it relates to the splash pad, the concrete pad is poured and the project is on hold until the contractor figures out how to repair the finish on the concrete without having to remove the entire pad and start all over. They've got a concrete epoxy specialist visiting the site and give them a recommendation that the city will take under advisement and review and make sure that we're all on the same page. As it relates to the elevated water tower, they're preparing for the next concrete pour, so steel is being installed for that. So that's all I have for the city projects going on around town. I do have a request to go into executive session to consider confidential information that is directly related to a request for economic development assistance under any provision identified in Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G8, or that involves public infrastructure improvements, or the extension of utility services that are directly related to an economic development project as necessary to protect the interests of the applicant or the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in connection with the economic development project, and to confer with legal counsel.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Do we have any other comments or questions by members of council?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Mr. Nichols, has there been any follow-up? I brought up a couple months ago, possibly looking into connecting the traffic signals at the two intersections there at First Avenue and at Miami. See if we could sync those, get traffic flowing a little better. If we been able to get any follow-up on that.
Yes, had some conversation with Brad probably a week and a half or so ago. Our engineers are still working on that. They needed more pictures of the inside of the cabinets and things of that nature. So they're still working on that.
Okay, thank
So
you.
to have something to you shortly.
Thank you.
Anything additional? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion that we go into executive session for the reasons stated by City Manager Nichols.
So moved.
Second.
Vice Mayor Croucher and Councilwoman Montgomery. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Croucher, Ms. Montgomery,
Yay.
Mr. Profit,
Yay.
Mr. Nichols,
Yay.
Ms. Butts,
Yay.
Mr. Rourke,
Yeah.
Mayor Perry.
Yay. We are going into executive session at 6:43 p.m. No other business will be conducted in work session, and we will commence the regular council meeting at 7:30 promptly. Thank you.